Good day, everyone. Our topic for today is all about the elements of arts and principles of design. But before anything else, these are our learning objectives. At the end of the lesson, the students will be able to identify the key elements of visual, auditory, and combined arts, such as line, color, rhythm, and movement, and understand their importance. Second is to use the principles of design balance, contrast, harmony, and emphasis to organize elements effectively in artworks. Lastly is to value the role of organized elements and principles in creating meaningful and expressive art.
Let's begin with a beautiful quote. Art is the harmony of elements shaped by the rhythm of design. Without them, creativity is noise, but with them, it becomes timeless expression. So this means that like just words from language or elements and principles form the language of art. These are the building blocks that artists use to create meaning, beauty, and expression. Okay, let's move on to elements in visual arts. What is elements in visual arts, DI? Okay, elements in visual arts are the basic components that define how an artwork is constructed and perceived. Each element plays a vital role in how people see and feel about a piece of art. Okay, let's go through them one by one. The first element in visual arts is line. Line is a simply path created by a moving point, or line it can be straight, curved, thick, thin, or even broken lines. Line help guide the viewer's eye and give structure or movement to a composition. No, like for example, curved lines. Curved lines can suggest softness or calmness, while the jagged lines it can suggest the tension and excitement. Understood? Okay, the second one, the elements in visual arts is shape and form. Shape refers to dimensional areas like circles, squares, or triangles, while we see form refers to dimensional objects such as sphere or cubes. Together with these two-dimensional, they give artwork a sense of mass and volume. Like for instance, in sculpture, form makes the artwork appear and solid or real. Like for example, if you are making a sculpture or imong artwork is a sculpture without the shape and form, dili gyud na siya mapurma or dili gyud nimo ma-achieve ang nindot nga outcome sa imong artwork. Kay kung maggama kag sculpture by using the line lang, anything nga type sa line or anything nga kind sa line, may makuan ba na siya, ma-curve, ma-straight, ma-broken line, pero di gyud na siya matawag nga sculpture kay dili man siya ma-form, then wala sad siya mga shape. So shape and form is very important in art, especially sa kanang mga sculpture, no? Okay, understood what is shape and form. Okay, the next one is color. Color is one of the most expressive elements. Why? Because it conveys mood, emotion, and symbolism. It has a properties, value, and intensity. Okay, artists use color to create atmosphere and emphasize meaning sa ilahang nga art. Like for example, no, kanang mga warm colors. So may mga warm colors. Kuntahay. Warm colors like red and orange, no. Red is unsa man na siya? Meaning sa red, if kanang like for example sa mood or imong emotions, red na siya. So mao nagyumasink in sa atong huna-huna nga red is anger. Then orange kay nag-show na siya og energy. Well, the colors like kining blue and green in symbolism, no, blue like for example mag-raise tag flag, then blue is mao gyud na siya naa sa babaw, kay blue is symbolizes the unsa man kapayapaan, no. Then ug moari sad ta sa green, green is suggest the calmness. Kay like for example, you are very stressed na gyud sa imong academics, then gusto ka nga makalma imong kaugalingon. Kanang mutanaw na lang kag anything na color green. It can be trees or kanang mga leaves or sa imong palibot nga green. So makalma gyud imong self. And also white is suggest or it symbolizes the purity. And also ang yellow is a happy colors. Yellow is it shows the happiness. Understood ba what is color in the elements in visual arts? Okay. The next is texture. Texture describes the surface quality of an object, whether it feels rough, smooth, soft, or hard. No, it can be real or something we can actually touch, or implied. No, something that only looks textured. Texture add richness and depth to work of art. Like for example, no, when you are making a mosaic, no, when you are making a mosaic, then ang imuhang ipatapot ang imong mosaic is katong mga imuhang gipangdugmok nga mga shell sa egg. Then what happened to your artwork, no, sa iyahang texture? So rough gyud siya. So ang texture sa imuhang artwork nga mosaic is rough kay tungod atong mga eggshell nga imuhang gipang dugmok then may imong gipatapot. And also the another example is when the artist might paint rough nga iyahang brush stroke kay rough siya to imitate and feel the fabric or kanang stone, no. So naghapon siya texture sa iyahang artwork. Rough gihapon siya or it may be kanang smooth imuhang artwork. So sabtan ba what is texture? Okay. Next is space. Space is the area around, between, and within the objects. Okay, artists use space to create a sense of distance and balance or kanang focus sa ilahang artwork to have a positive and negative, no, nga kanang sa ilahang space and perspective drawing, no. Space helps make objects kanang look closer or farther away. So anong nice gihapon imong artwork if na siya space to have a kanang para more siya closer tan-awon or more pud siya kanang farther away siya tan-awon. Okay, mo nice space sabtan. Okay, the last elements in visual art is value. Okay, value refers to the lightness or darkness of a color or tone. Unsa man ning value? Okay, value is it adds contrast and dimension for making artwork, or it can appear mas more realistic imuhang artwork if na siya value. So na all value. Kanang like for example, no, when you're making a self-portrait by using the pencil drawings, then magamit ka og value to show the light and kanang shadow sa imuhang artwork. Okay, nindot tan-awon imuhang artwork if na siya value or kanang contrast. Like for example, ang uban is mag-art sila by using the charcoal. So igtan-aw gyud nimo sa ilahang artwork is ma-emphasize gyud ang ilahang art by using the value kay naman siya lightness or darkness or like kanang pa-shadow. So ang outcome sa ilang artwork is more realistic or mura na gyud siya ang ilahang self-portrait, mura na gyud siya og tinuod nga kanang tao tan-aw nimo. Okay, those are the 6 elements in visual arts. What are those? First is line. Second, shape and form. Third, color. And next is texture, space, and value. Okay, in conclusion, with all these elements are thoughtfully combined, they allow visual art to move beyond simple representation and to the realistic of emotion, and interpretation. Okay, that would be all for my topic. Further more information, the next topic will be discussed by the next reporter. Thank you.
Okay, so now let's proceed to the elements of auditory arts and combined arts. So, kita no, we usually think of art as something we see like mga paintings or dance, but a big part of art is what we hear and how different senses come together. So, let's discuss first the elements of auditory arts. So, auditory arts is all about sound. No, so think of a song or a piece of music. So there are several parts that make it interesting. So these are the elements of auditory arts. So first is the pitch. Pitch is the highness or the lowness of sound forming the foundation of melody. Yeah, so one of the example of a sound that has a high pitch is koan mga the sound of a whistle or like the bird sounds. No, so also in the sounds that has a low pitch is like the sound of the drum or like the sound of a thunderstorm. So that is the examples of a high pitch. So in other words, pitch is how high or low a sound is, no? So in Bisaya, insa ka tagniwon ang isa ka sound. So next is the rhythm, the arrangement of sounds and silences in time. Rhythm provides structure and flow. So in rhythm this is the beat or the pattern of a sound. So it's like when you tap your foot while listening to a song or clapping your hands while di ba kita kasagaran while listening to a song, we clap our hands, we tap our foot. So that's the beat or the pattern of a sounds. Next is harmony, the blending of simultaneous notes to enrich musical texture. Yeah, so harmony happens in example like in a choir. So they play different notes at the same time to make the music richer. So yes, nice gyapon sila paminawon no even if they play different notes at the same time. So that's the harmony. Next is the timbre or the tone color, the quality of sound that distinguishes one instrument or voice from another. So for example, ang piano and violin, so they play the same note at the same time. No, so di ba maka-identify gyapon ta kung asay sound sa piano then asay sound sa violin. So that's the timbre or the tone color. Next is the dynamics. So this is the variations in loudness and softness that express emotional intensity. So di ba kasagaran sa mga music is mag-start jud na og koan, hinay pa ang sound. Then after hapit na chorus, so magkaanam na og kaloud ang iyang sound. So that means that kung magkaanam na og kaloud ang sound, it shows more emotion. So the change in volume, so that is the dynamics of a sound. So that's all for the elements in auditory arts. So now let's proceed to the elements of combined arts. Combined arts is a mixed sounds with other things like movement, visuals, drama to give us a full experience. One example of a combined arts is kanang theater or mga performance arts, no? So nanay ga kanta, nanay ga sayaw, nanay ga hilak-hilak. So that's example of a combined arts. So the first element is a movement, no? So this is central to dance and theater where body gestures or stage actions communicate emotion. So katong uban nga they can tell their story or express their feelings or emotions through words. They can express it through dancing or using their body languages. Yeah, so that's the movement. Next element is the dialogue and story. So in theater, film and performance arts, words create narrative and context. These are the spoken words that tells us what's happening like sa mga play or sa mga movie. So kana mao na ang ilahang mga spoken words. Next is the spectacle visual elements, the costume, sets, lighting, and visual effects that support the auditory and performative components. So imagine in a theater, no, kung without all of this kaning mga costumes, mga sets, mga lights. So as a mananaway unsa inyong ma-feel? So di ba di mo ma-excite, ma-bored mo, di mo ganan mo tan-aw. No, so dapat in a combined arts dapat na ay mga visual elements with mga colorful costumes, mga bright lights, mga sets para ang inyong theater or inyong performance is alive, and also inyong mga audience is ganahan sila matan-aw, ma-excite sila. Yes. Lastly is the integration, the merging of music, visuals, text, and movement into a cohesive multisensory experience. So this means that all these parts like katong mga music, movement, the stories, and visuals work together so we feel like we're part of their story. No, so it's like we are watching a musical where the singing, dancing, and acting all happen at once to create a magical experience or magical moment. Yeah, so that's all for the element in combined arts. So, in short, auditory arts focus on what we hear with sounds and music, while ang combined arts, it bring together different senses like our sight, sound, and our movement to create a complete and powerful art experience.
Good day, everyone. We'll be presenting the meaning and nature of the principles of art and design. In the previous parts, we learned about the elements of art like line, shape, color, texture, value, form, and space, which serve as the foundation of every artwork. We also discussed auditory arts such as music, which use pitch, rhythm, harmony, timbre, and dynamics, and the combined arts like dance and theater, which use movement, dialogue, spectacle, and integration. If the elements of art are the building blocks, then the principles of design are the rules for arranging them. They bring balance, unity, and coherence to a composition, ensuring that artworks achieve both beauty and meaning. Balance refers to the distribution of visual weight in an artwork. It can be symmetrical, asymmetrical, or radial. For example, Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper shows symmetrical balance with Jesus in the center, while Van Gogh's The Starry Night achieves dynamic asymmetrical balance through its swirling motion and energy. The next one is the contrast. Contrast highlights differences light versus dark, soft versus rough, or large versus small. It helps create focus and drama in an artwork. In Makarov Vitalis' Old Street, Gurzov, contrast between light and shadow brings depth and emphasis, making the scene more vivid and realistic. The next one is rhythm and movement. Rhythm and movement give the artwork a sense of motion and flow. Through repeating lines, curves, or colors, the viewer's eyes move naturally around the composition, similar to how beats and pauses create rhythm in music. Unity and harmony. Unity and harmony mean that all parts of an artwork work together as one. Every color, line, and shape feels connected, creating a sense of completeness and peace. A unified artwork feels balanced and intentional. The next one is emphasis. Emphasis draws attention to the most important part of an artwork. Its the focal point is to where your eyes go first. Artists use color, contrast, or placement to highlight this key area, guiding the viewer's attention. For the next slide is proportion and scale. Proportion refers to the relationship of sizes within an artwork, making sure everything looks natural and realistic. Scale, on the other hand, compares the size of one object to another or to the whole composition. Together, they help create balance and sense of depth. Lastly, variety keeps an artwork interesting and lively. It means using different colors, textures, or forms without losing harmony. This adds excitement and creativity to a design while maintaining unity. In summary, the principles of design serve as the artist's guide, turning the basic elements of art into meaningful, expressive, and visually appealing creations. Thank you.